Hi guys! Tonight we're going to read Violet the Pilot by Steve Breen. Oh, there was our doggie. Okay. Everyone in town knew that Violet Van Winkle was a little different. For starters, she and her parents lived in an odd-looking house next to the junkyard her father managed. And while other girls were playing with dolls and tea sets, Violet played with monkey wrenches and needle nose pliers. Monkey wrenches and needle nose pliers are types of tools. And a junkyard is kind of like the garbage dump. Violet was a mechanical genius. She knew a lot about how machines work. By the time she was 2, she could fix almost any broken appliance in the house. By age 4, she could take apart the grandfather clock and completely reassemble it. Since she didn't have any friends except for her dog Orville, she would spend hours tinkering with things from the yard. Violet's parents were very proud of her, although they weren't too happy the time she put a lawnmower engine on her cousin's tricycle. Made it go super fast. The older she got, the more interesting Violet's creations became. Around the time she turned 8, she was building elaborate machines from scratch. And not just any old machines. Flying machines. So Violet was building flying machines. Her parents couldn't believe their eyes when they saw Violet zoom by for the first time. They were a little worried in the beginning, but they quickly saw that she was a pretty good pilot. "Careful not to hit the house," Violet's father would yell. "And put on a sweater," her mother would add. Violet used anything she could find in the junkyard to make her wonderful contraptions. So she used the junk in the junkyard to make her flying machines. It's kind of good for Earth Day. She recycled. There was the tub bubbler, and the bicycopter, and the rocket can. Those were the names of the different flying machines she built. I like the tub bubbler. There was the pogo plane, the slide glider, and the wingamajig, to name a few. So the pogo plane, the slide glider, and the wingamajig.
What's this one?
That one's the pogo plane. Violet's engineering was pretty sound. The only real hazards were tall trees, piles of junk in the yard, and bugs in her teeth. So those were the things she had to worry about. Tall trees, piles of junk, and bugs in her teeth. You see the bugs in her teeth? Kids at school would see Violet eating lunch alone and make fun of her strange looks and greasy coveralls. Coveralls were the things that she was wearing to protect her clothes while she worked on machines. Claude and Clyde Mulrooney were especially obnoxious. Then one day, Violet noticed a poster in the drugstore window. It said, "Air Show, October 20th. That's only 2 weeks away, Violet thought. Can kids fly in the show? Is homemade aircraft allowed? Have you ever seen an air show before, where they fly the planes around? That night, Violet sat in her room thinking about the air show. She knew it would be a good feeling if one of her planes won a prize. And maybe then the kids at school would be nice to her. Violet pictured exactly where she would hang her blue ribbon. So there's the air show poster, and here she is in her room, thinking about where she's going to put her first place ribbon. She and Orville spent the next few days combing the junkyard for just the right materials. When they had collected a giant pile of stuff, the building began. One day, the Mulrooney twins happened to pass by. "Look, it's that girl from school," one of them said. "What are you doing, weirdo?" "Well, that's not very nice." "I'm building an airplane," she told them. The twins exploded in laughter and then mumbled something mean as they walked away. Gosh, they are not nice at all. Orville the dog barked at the boys, but Violet just went back to her project. "Take it easy, buddy," she said to Orville. "We're too busy to worry about the twins." Finally, after days of hard work, Violet had finished making her flying machines. Yeah, Orville's taking the picture of her. She named the magnificent new aircraft the Hornet. "Wait till the people in the grandstands see me flying this," Violet said to Orville. Oh, look at the flying machine she built. The test flight was a success. I don't know if you can see, she's flying loop-de-loops around, and one of them, the doggy, falls out, and she swoops back around and catches him.
Well, I'm see swoop back around and catch him.
Okay. See, look, he goes around, he starts falling out, he's falling, and she swoops back and catches him. On the day of the big air show, Violet took off, bursting with excitement. Her parents' faces had beamed with pride when they wished her luck, and she thought about that as she flew through the clear autumn sky. She thought about that the trip would take about 20 minutes. She should arrive just in time for the start of the air show.
You don't have to see all the pictures.
Suddenly, something caught Violet's eye. In the river below, a group of people were waving frantically.
If you don't hear what dog,
Violet lowered her altitude to get a better look, so she flew lower to get a better look. A troop of Boy Scouts had run into trouble while canoeing. Violet knew she had to help, and fast. See, the Boy Scouts, their canoes flipped them into the water.
You don't hear Gracie's chewing on, or dog Gracie's chewing on.
Gracie's chewing on her bone over there. So instead of going to the air show, Violet decided to help the boys. It wasn't easy rescuing all the boys, but Violet piloted the Hornet with careful precision. Saving the Scoutmaster from going over the falls was particularly dangerous, so she saved the leader from going over the waterfall.
Can I see which one is it? That one?
I think right there she catches him.
Oh.
Violet dropped the grateful Boy Scouts off at the hospital. Then she checked her watch. 3:30, she said to Orville sadly. "We've missed the air show." She turned her plane toward home and sighed. It was a miserable feeling. So she's sad about missing the air show. That evening, Violet had no appetite for dinner. She just went upstairs and sat on her bed. She wasn't hungry. All of a sudden, she heard lots of noise outside the house. She and Orville went to the window and discovered that a crowd of people had gathered. Somebody spotted her. "There's Violet!" the boys shouted jubilantly. "There's our hero!" The Van Winkles stepped outside, squinting from all the flash bulbs that were popping around them. So all the camera work that was happening that made them blink their eyes. The press, the mayor, the fire and police chiefs, even kids and teachers from school had all learned of the rescue that day and had come to praise her.
Oh, look at the picture.
Young lady, please accept this Medal of Valor as a token of our gratitude and esteem, said the mayor. And he gave Orville a new collar with a license that said, Canine Hero. So they gave Violet a medal for bravery.
Then can we see?
From that day on, Violet's parents let her fly whenever she
We
wanted.
have a dog here.
But her mom still made her wear a sweater.
Then we have a dog here.
Like you can see the guy in the airplane flying.
I want to see. I want to see.
And there's Violet outside the airplane window.
Mom, I want to see.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a good night and a good day
And look how
tomorrow.
Gracie.
We'll see you later.
We have a cute dog here. Bye.